is a heritage listed house and it's within the Bowral Conservation Area, which is why it was really important to get this space, the new work, right. We had to be so thoughtful and mindful about the way the house presented to the street. So you'll notice that from the front of the house you can barely see this extension exists. The thing that I love the most about this house is the transition between the old part of the house and the new work. The new part of the work is interesting and it's got a rich palette of materials and just as beautiful as the old part of the house, but providing a very, very different type of space. We had to marry contemporary design, thermal performance, heritage, and a very complex build on quite a restrained site because it's not a wide site. So we had to get all of those things together. It was a very dynamic project. So we were constantly 3D modelling and testing and running solar diagrams and working closely with our clients, working closely with the builder. So it was constantly evolving and you could see every time we'd face a challenge, we'd resolve it and the house would just get so much better for it. This house for us was a really interesting exercise in how to really push the performance of the house and how to maximise our energy efficiency. So the heating through the house is a geothermal system. So we've got vertical bores with geothermal heat pump and that heats the heated floor. It provides our domestic hot water and it heats the pool as well, so it's incredibly efficient. The thermal performance of this house is obviously the envelope, and the envelope includes the glazing. We worked very closely with Hanlon Windows at Nowra, and they were involved quite early on in the piece because we were trying to really push the amount of glazing that we had, and we had to constantly be talking to them about how much bigger can these doors get, how much taller can they get, how can we integrate the Centaur screens. So there was constantly that back and forth. Our builder had very fine tolerances. There's so much steel framing in this house. So the steel framing was being documented and produced at the same time as the glazing, so we had to be sure that it was all going to work together. Working with Hanlon and the builder, we could make that happen. The louver gallery in this house was envisaged as an indoor-outdoor gallery space that visually connected the guest wing to the rest of the house. The louvers were really important because they provided really good cross ventilation, but there are also times of the year where it gets very, very cold. So louvers not being double glazed posed a little bit of an interesting dilemma for us. And the way that we started to envisage that space is so that it was thermally isolated from the rest of the house. So at either ends of the louver gallery, we've got external thermally broken doors and we have thermal breaks in the slab so that at those times of the year when it was quite cold, performance of the louvered space did not impact on the thermal performance of the rest of the house. This project was really important for us. It's important for us because there aren't too many examples of really successful contemporary sustainable homes in the Highlands. It's certainly something which is changing, and I feel like this house is part of that change where we are now able to design such beautiful places in a regional part of Australia, which is really lovely.